These are the photos you were never supposed to see. Unbelievable vintage images hidden away for decades. 1954 New York. Marilyn Monroe's white dress billows on subway grate. Cinema history made unforgettable. 1950s. Hollywood portrait of Debbie Reynolds, elegant in satin dress and sparkling earrings. Early 1950s photo of Rosemary Bowe in Hollywood garden, radiant smile capturing timeless charm. 1955 photo of Marilyn Monroe leaning over a New York balcony. City lights meet Hollywood charm. 1950s photo of Debbie Reynolds on set, smiling in her chair. Hollywood sunshine personified. Late 1940s photo of a young actress gazing through blinds in Hollywood. Film noir mood. 1950s glamour shot of Marilyn Monroe in Hollywood studio. Sultry elegance forever immortalized on film. Early 1950s photo of Marilyn Monroe lounging poolside in Hollywood. Glamour meets summertime ease. 1950s studio portrait of Mamie Van Doren in Hollywood. Silver glamour and feathers steal the spotlight. 19th century style portrait of a young woman in elegant gown. Victorian grace frozen in time. 1950s portrait of Shirley MacLaine in Hollywood. Playful smile and pearls radiate effortless charm. 1950s photo of Audrey Hepburn in the Swiss Alps. Graceful beauty picking daisies in summer light. 1940s Hollywood portrait of Lucille Ball. Glamorous profile capturing her rise before comedic stardoms. 1940s studio portrait of Katharine Hepburn in Hollywood. Poised confidence from cinema's sharp-witted leading lady. 1940s colorized portrait of Ingrid Bergman in Hollywood. Dreamy gaze that defined classic cinema romance. 1946 still from The Big Sleep starring Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart. Film noir at its finest. 1950 still from All About Eve starring Bette Davis and Anne Baxter. Backstage drama at its peak. 1930s portrait of Vivien Leigh in Hollywood. Radiant smile foreshadowing her Gone with the Wind stardom. 1940s portrait of Ava Gardner in Hollywood. Dazzling in shimmering gown, the essence of timeless allure. 1950 behind-the-scenes shot from All About Eve. Bette Davis, Anne Baxter, and young Marilyn Monroe share the frame. 1930s photo of Joan Crawford on a Hollywood set, framed by studio lights. Poise meets power. 1940s behind-the-scenes photo of Katharine Hepburn and Ginger Rogers on set. Conversation flows. Cameras wait. 1940s behind-the-scenes photo of Joan Crawford on set, receiving direction. Intensity even between takes. 1939 colorized portrait of Vivien Leigh as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. Southern charm eternal. 1940s. Hollywood studio portrait of Jean Tierney in elegant gown. Timeless beauty with a hint of mystery. 1942. Behind the scenes of Casablanca, Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman film their fog-drenched farewell scene. 1950s studio portrait of Grace Kelly in Hollywood. Pearl elegance before destiny crowned her princess. 1940s studio portrait of Janet Leigh in Hollywood. Fresh-faced beauty destined for silver screen legend. 1940s studio portrait of Janet Leigh in Hollywood. Fresh-faced beauty destined for silver screen legend. 1950s photo of Diana Dors in Hollywood. Britain's blonde bombshell rivals Monroe's allure. 1950s. Hollywood glamour portrait of Anita Ekberg, jeweled and radiant, raising a glass to stardom. 1950s candid of Anita Ekberg at a Hollywood party. Glamour, laughter, and champagne sparkle. 1950s photo of Anita Ekberg in swimsuit at a Hollywood poolside. Glamour meets leisure. 1953 photo of Marilyn Monroe by Burt Reisfeld in Hollywood. Playful elegance captured in motion. 1950s candid of Marilyn Monroe being fitted into a dress backstage. Glamour takes teamwork. 1950s photo of Marilyn Monroe in bikini outdoors. Sunlight highlights her effortless Hollywood allure. 1940s early modeling photo of young Marilyn Monroe. Playful smile before stardom claimed her name. 1940s photo of young Norma Jean before becoming Marilyn Monroe. Innocence meets the first spark of stardom. 1940s photo of young Norma Jean at a riverside in swimsuit. Natural charm before Hollywood fame. 1950s beach photo shoot of Marilyn Monroe, radiant in bikini as Hollywood's cameras adored her glow. 1960s backstage photo of Marilyn Monroe, laughing freely in satin robe. Glamour meets mischief. Early 1950s behind-the-scenes photo of Humphrey Bogart with son and Lauren Bacall. Casual yet iconic. Late 1930s portrait of Vivien Leigh as Scarlett O'Hara, radiating charm during Gone with the Wind. A 1945 still from Mildred Pierce, showing Joan Crawford and Anne Blyth in tense confrontation. Late 1930s portrait of Hedy Lamarr in Hollywood, admired for both beauty and brilliance. 1940s behind-the-scenes shot with Lauren Bacall, Barbara Stanwyck, and Humphrey Bogart sharing a laugh. 1950s backstage moment with Marilyn Monroe and fellow actresses preparing at a vanity table. Modern artistic portrait styled after 1950s. Glamour. Studio setting. Marilyn Monroe-inspired allure. Stylized modern portrait in 1940s. Noir aesthetic. Studio setting. Cinematic elegance with sultry gaze. Early 1960s photo of Sophia Loren and Frank Sinatra relaxing on set, trailer backdrop. Gene Tierney photographed in 1941 during the Shanghai gesture, Hollywood set glamour at its finest. Gene Tierney reclining elegantly in the early 1940s, Hollywood studio portrait radiating timeless allure. Ava Gardner in a 1940s. Hollywood publicity still, draped in satin elegance, classic allure. Jane Russell in The Outlaw, 1943, striking a bold pose on hay with pistols. 1973, London Heathrow Airport. Sidney Poitier with wife Joanna Shimkus and daughter Sydney. 1940 studio portrait of Lauren Bacall, Hollywood, California. Her piercing gaze redefined femme fatale allure. 1920 studio portrait of silent film star Norma Shearer, Hollywood, California. Her lace gown sparkles with timeless charm. Late 1930s portrait of Carole Lombard, Hollywood studio setting. Elegance meets quiet intensity in her gaze. 1930 on the set of The Blue Angel, Emile Jannings and Marlene Dietrich share a playful moment. 1950 studio portrait of Jane Russell, Hollywood, dressed in glamorous gown and sparkling earrings. 1941. On the set of Suspicion, Cary Grant adjusts Joan Fontaine's hair with charm. 1940s, Rita Hayworth poses playfully on a car in California, wartime humor intact. 1950s, Anita Ekberg poses in a sultry studio portrait, eyes closed, radiating timeless glamour. 1960, Anita Ekberg wades into Rome's Trevi Fountain filming La Dolce Vita, cinema history immortalized. Late 1930s, actress Phyllis Brooks poses elegantly in Hollywood studio, embodying classic screen glamour. 1950s black and white photo of a young woman reading outdoors, surprised by her book's content. Early 1950s black and white photo of a woman outdoors, holding a book with a startled expression. 1940s. Hollywood studio portrait of a glamorous actress, styled with elegant curls and satin gown. 1950s film still of a glamorous blonde actress in satin gown, confidently holding a revolver. 1950s. Hollywood publicity shot of a glamorous actress in a glittering gown, striking a confident pose. 1950s black and white photo of a joyful woman in a checkered swimsuit, posing playfully by the seaside. 1930s black and white photo of a young woman in athletic attire, flexing her arm, coached by a trainer. 1938. Black and white photo of a young woman playfully leaning over a car hood, exuding charm and energy. 1960s black and white photo of a smiling young woman in a bikini, posing casually beside a car. Modern black and white photo of a young woman in a kitchen, towel on head, striking a casual pose. 1960s sepia-toned portrait of a glamorous woman in a bikini, posing confidently against a rocky backdrop. 1930s Hollywood studio portrait of a refined actress, styled with short curled hair and an elegant ring. 1940s Hollywood portrait of a young actress with soft curls, gazing down thoughtfully in dramatic lighting.